Good morning.
Good morning.
That was a little more gusto than I did, didn't it? Let me try it again.
Do
Good
it.
morning, everybody. What's up? It's Wednesday.
Good morning, everybody. What's up?
Yeah.
It's hump day today.
Yeah, June 19th, 2024. Hopefully everybody's having an awesome week. And most of the country is in a big old heat spell right now. You know it? It's warm all over.
Plus,
And,
when you're sitting with somebody you love,
yeah. And guess
makes
what?
it hotter.
Also down there in the Gulf of Mexico is getting churned up, cranked up. So everybody that's down in that area, yeah, a lot of water, a lot of rain's going to be falling. So hopefully y'all are safe. This morning, Zeal,
That's right.
the zeal for our Father's house, boomage. Okay, having zeal for something, that means you. You're all in. You're all in on that. You know what I mean? This is serious business.
Yep.
And the love and the care that Jesus had for his Father's house, and he made a point that he let them know too. And this is out of John chapter 2, verse 13 through 17, when Jesus cleanses the temple. A lot of people have used, I have. Be sitting around talking, over the years with people, and it's like, yeah, Jesus got mad. We'd say, oh, yeah, Jesus, boy, he got mad.
He turned tables over.
Sure did. And he did. And this is this account. And why? Why did he turn the tables over?
He wanted to get people's attention.
Well, right. And he made a whip. He meant business. And when you mean business, well, cause a scene or whatever, right? He couldn't just let it be. You know what I mean? He couldn't just pass by and shake his head or whatever. So here we go. Let's just go ahead and jump into it and read the account that's in John about this. And it's just a section of it. There's more, to it that this doesn't cover. But verse 13, and the Jews' Passover was at hand. And Jesus went up to Jerusalem, and found in the temple those that sold oxen, and sheep, and doves, and the changers of money sitting. And when he had made a whip of small cords, he drove them all out of the temple, and the sheep and the oxen, and poured out the changers' money, and overthrew the tables. And said unto them that sold doves, take these hence, make not my Father's house a house of merchandise. And his disciples remembered that it was written, the zeal of thine house hath eaten me up. So, so he comes to Jerusalem during the Passover, and they're in the temple with animals and money changers, kind of like if you've ever been to like a flea market or we have flea markets around here where you can go and buy some chickens and sheep and goats and this and that. But imagine that being done though in God's house.
Yeah.
House of worship. We know if you read any of the letters that Paul wrote, he was writing to the first Christians then in Corinth, and and so on, in Rome. And they were doing some crazy things then, and he was telling them, what they was doing was wrong. So, but this is an account with Jesus finding out, okay, they are it's full on disrespect. You know what I mean? Like, what was the reason? It wasn't raining, so let's go into the temple because it's raining. No. Why did they do that? Why did they use that? Okay, let's jump into the devotion and see what this person has wrote. I remember as a young girl singing a song in worship taken from the Old Testament book of Habakkuk with these lyrics. The Lord is in his temple. Wait, let me read this. The Lord is in his holy temple. Let all the earth keep silence before him. Keep silence keep silence before him. The purpose of the song was to prepare our hearts and minds to worship God in holiness and reverence. Right. I mean, we shouldn't we? When you get it that he's the creator of the world, of everything that was made from him, he should have reverence. We should stand in awe and be in awe and keep silent, right? Yeah. Let all the earth keep silence before him. In John 2:13 through 17, Jesus entered the temple of God to worship around the time of Passover. The atmosphere was anything but silent, reverent, and holy. What he found instead was a chaotic marketplace full of noisy animals and corrupt money changers taking advantage of people. Jesus could not, in good conscience, stand by and allow this activity in his Father's house to continue. So he made a whip out of cords and drove them all out. As the Apostle Paul states in the 1 Corinthians 3:16 through 17, we as Christians are God's temple today, and his Spirit lives in us. He warns that if anyone destroys that sacred temple through ungodly living, the Lord will destroy him. What unholy thoughts, attitudes, and practices do we need to drive out of our lives to preserve the sanctity of God's temple? So this is tying in now, see, from the temple that Jesus went in during Passover, there was no, reverence to God or nothing going on. No, they was in there making money, doing all sorts of things. And don't we, as people of God and people that God has made, using our temples for everything but reverence to God? I mean, we're guilty. If you want to be honest with people, you got to be honest with people. I've even told, just sitting around me and Cynthia, I said, yeah, even Mother Teresa sinned. That's right. We all have fallen short of the glory of God. And I tell you what, we ain't and could never, ever be good enough or make it on our own. Thanks be to God for sending his Son.
That peace. Just...
Right. But our temple, what have we done? What do we do to our temple? And I mean, for myself, it's not always clean and clutter-free.
No.
My temple, no, it's not. Because, and it's like, we don't realize it. The devil's that good to make you not think about it. That God lives in us. He dwells within us. And we go around and do this and do that and talk, like our tongue, Paul's talked about the tongue. I think it was Paul, how strong that is with blessings that can come out of it, and also cursing and being absolutely just mean and filthy can come out of the same mouth. It's like we don't realize how disastrous we as people are and can be. Man, humble yourselves, right? Because I tell you what, I'm humbled at reading this because, I've got God living in me, dwelling within me, and the things that I think about, or the things that I get mad and express my anger about, and just so,
And I do that too.
If we're honest, we all do. Some are different than others. You know that? My sin's not your sin's not my sin, but we are all sinful men and women. And I tell you what, we have him in us, and we don't call on him enough. Like he's busy God's got so much going on. This world is, and it is crazy.
But He's there for all of us.
Yeah, and he is. But where's our zeal? You know, we can't walk around and feel like we're good enough or we've made it. We can't feel it like we've checked all the boxes. We don't have the zeal that Jesus had. And if we strive to be like Jesus, what would Jesus do? Well, we know what Jesus did. It's what would Corey do? What would you do? And more than likely, we're going to be like the daggum Peter that says, no, Jesus Christ, I will never forsake, I will not deny you. It denies him 3 times before the rooster crowed and was told that it was going to happen. And Judas selling Jesus out for 30 pieces of silver. And like I told Cynthia, I said, you know, Judas has already seen everything that Jesus has done, the power and the miracles and all that. He thought, Jesus, get out of this, but I'm going to make my money. Well, guess what? Nah. Drove him crazy. Satan, evil spirits, destroyed him. And that's what we can do to ourselves. We can destroy our temple. Because, you know, I've talked about free will, free choice. God gives us free will to honor and reverence the temple and Him within us, or just destroy it. Have animals and, you know, all this like they did in this temple, physically, in a temple with, like a flea market selling, you know, whatever you call it, livestock swap or something, you know, where you come and trade a goat for a camel or something. You know what I mean? That's what they were doing. But I'm saying we're going to look at that and snarl our nose. We need to look at ourselves in the mirror and think, what are we doing? What are we doing currently? What have we done to our temple? Right? So that's what I thought or think about it. And, you know, think of myself, because I need to daggum, like the old saying is, and Jesus even said a analogy of it, but, you know, people said, sweep your own porch before you worry about somebody else's porch. Jesus said, you need to worry about the beam, the big beam coming out of your eye, and not worry about the speck that's in somebody else's. Why? Because we are all capable of destroying our own selves, our own temple. Yeah. And it's like, well, okay, this should wake us up. You know, if you could physically imagine Jesus with a whip of cords, a whip, slapping the table or slapping the floor or the wall around you, saying, wake up, get this out of my Father's house. Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, we need to check ourselves before we wreck ourselves. And, it starts with me looking in the mirror. Right?
And me looking in the mirror.
Right. So, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one right there to think about and dwell about and pray about. And we're all in this daggum battle together, and we're all in different little journeys and walks of life, but we're all together. We're going towards the same goal. So let's not beat each other up, and let's not beat ourselves up, but let's keep ourselves in check. Let's check ourselves before we wreck ourselves.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. We're out of here. We appreciate you watching. We're going to get out of here, right?
Right, baby.
Go kick up some dust. And we'll see y'all on the next one, okay? So peace out. Love you all. Yeah.
And I just want to say to everybody to please never give up, because let me tell you why. You're so worth, you're so special, and you have a beautiful purpose.
That's right.
Don't ever forget that.
Yep.
Have a good day, and always know, squeeze tight yourself because you have a purpose. So we'll see you on the beautiful next one, y'all.
That's right.
And always remember that I love you guys.
All right.
You're